Guys, 'tis the season for the great deals and smart buys, and that includes your trusty iPhone also. If you're not the type to upgrade every season, you may want to wait a bit before buying the iPhone 13. Actually, stick with me and see if the iPhone SE 3 isn't a better idea. Normally, comparing a budget phone with a flagship is insane. I mean, totally different categories, different specs and expectations. But in the iPhone's case, things are not always what they seem. Meaning, Apple has kept its loyal fanbase by offering a compact phone that's as smart as the flagships. In other words, if you're willing to overlook things like display and cameras, you can still have uber performance and connectivity. So, what will next year's iPhone SE show up as? Until now, we were used to seeing Apple rehash the old iPhone 8 design for this line, keeping production costs low to keep the overall price at $400. Sure, there are voices saying nothing will change in 2022. That budget iPhone will carry on the current chunky bezels, Touch ID, home button, and 4.7 inches LCD display. But between you and me, I so do not want to believe that. The more attractive one rumored is an iPhone XR wannabe. You know, like iPhone SE 2022 will swap the upper bezels for a notch and the Touch ID for Face ID. I mean, it wouldn't be too much of an effort for Apple, and for us, well, it would mean the world finally getting rid of the old iPhone 8 design language. Before we get into the rest, here's another point everyone's butting heads over: name. Besides fighting over which design Apple's gonna choose, people are saying next year's iPhone will actually be called Plus. As in, plus a couple of features, nothing too crazy, nothing too different. So, the iPhone SE 3 name? Oh, that's supposedly coming in 2023 or 2024 for a 5.7, 6.1 inches handset. Sounds weird, no question about it. What's your preference, by the way? I'm curious to know if you're hoping for an iPhone XR style or the iPhone 8 is fine with you. Just tell me down below. Truth is, we won't know until January, most likely. Until now, the iPhone SE series came in spring, so we're bound to see it launch in March or April 2022. When it does, Android budget phones are gonna have to pay attention. With the specs rumored already, that iPhone will be the cheapest 5G iPhone ever and the fastest cheap phone on the market. How come? Well, like I said, Apple will give it flagship superpowers. Even if the exterior of the phone will have us confuse it with an iPhone 8, the internals don't lie. The processor and connectivity of the phone will make it a 2022 staple. From what I've heard, Apple wants to make it run on the A15 chip. That's the latest to come from Apple and working on the iPhone 13 right now. It's a rocket with a 6-core CPU, a 4-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine. With this powerhouse under the hood, 5G is a given, which again pushes the budget phone into the flagship realm. Honestly, this iPhone SE will be on par with the iPhone 13 when you think about performance and maybe even design. Like I said, if Apple finally puts to the rest the iPhone 8 sketches. Another thing I hope they'll upgrade is the camera. I think we're all done with the single camera and we deserve at least an ultra-wide on the back. And not to sound picky, but a night mode would also be a blessing and the way to compete with the A phones from Pixel. And speaking about extra stuff, we might also see extra colors in the iPhone SE portfolio. Apple could include green, purple, or blue to bring the series closer to their current offerings. While storage should start from 64 gigabytes next year as well, we might get a surprise in the battery department. With a bit of luck, Apple might upgrade it and give us a full day of juice instead of 9-10 hours. What would all this add up to? Well, with the A15 and 5G almost confirmed and these possible upgrades, I see a raise of price. Last year's $400 price remains the goal, true, but Apple might have to take it up a notch to $450, let's say. Nothing is sure, obviously, but with big upgrades, raised costs are inevitable. Still, the iPhone SE 3 or Plus price should fall under $500. That's how much an iPhone 11 is right now, after all. What do you say? Is the iPhone SE 2022 a better deal in the end? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to see more videos like this. It really means the world to us. See you guys!